Hey! Hey! Sorry to keep you waiting, Taichi.
Oh, Father, it's you.
What am I, chopped liver? Is that how you greet your father after I came all this way to the UK?
It's not that. I was expecting to see Professor Amada, you know, the one who's co-writing the book with me. It'll be the first time we've ever met.
Well, you'll just have to keep on waiting for him, because from the looks of it, it appears that I am the only Japanese person around for miles. Oh, here's the deer horn sake you asked me to get for you.
Ah, from the Kazuno village. Thanks, Father.
You know, I had to go up north to some Japanese shrine just to get one. Why do you want this holy sake stuff in the first place, using your old man like this? What are you smiling at? You aren't even listening to me, are you?
Excuse me, gentlemen. So then, what'll it be?
A cup of coffee, please.
Could I have a bottle of the Glen Slauncher?
Coming right up.
Every time I come abroad, it's the same. I think about how different these foreigners are from the Japanese.
I'm sorry to have to break this to you, but if anyone's the foreigner here, it's you.
Over there. Just take a look at that British gentleman. He's the epitome of a non-Asian.
Hollow-eyed with a pointed nose? Is that it?
No, I'd say it's really more of an elongated nose, like a Tengu goblin.
Here you are, gentlemen.
By the way, Taichi, is it all right for you to drink at this hour?
Well, there's a reason. Professor Amada and I wanted to do a comparison between this sake and this whiskey.
What are you trying to say? This bottle? Does it have anything to do with that book you're going to co-write?
Yes, that's exactly it. This is an amazing find. Take a good look. This once belonged to a Scotsman during the Edo period. He was shipwrecked and ended up in Japan.
What do you know? An antique watch. Very nice. This type of work is distinctive of the 17th century. A coat of arms and a name. Angus T.
Yes, this is Angus T. He's the one at the center of this fascinating story. It began with the hunt for the origin of this coat of arms.
This is Kazuno village in Iwate Prefecture. What you see here is a shrine called Amakusa.
Wow, what a beautiful location for it.
You think so? That's where this watch has been preserved all these years.
You got permission to borrow this from the shrine?
Professor Amada is a direct descendant of the family that had maintained the Amakusa shrine. He convinced the staff.
I see.
So, Professor Hiraga, I want you to find out who the original owner was of the 17th century watch.
Listen, I'm intrigued, but I wonder if it's possible to uncover the identity with a barely legible emblem in the name Angus T.
Only you can do it, Professor. If you turned this into a book with Professor Amada, it'd be a guaranteed bestseller. This is the box that the watch was kept in. It looks like some sort of leaf. Perhaps it has some significant meaning.
Oh, of course, the Amakusa Shrine. That's why you asked me to go there and get this sake. I wonder what kind of plant has leaves like these.
Well, it's a thistle. Here's a copy of the coat of arms from the watch. There's a thistle here as well.
Aha! You believe this is a variation of the emblem that was engraved on the timepiece, right?
The thistle happens to be Scotland's emblem. I left London in a hurry and decided to do some cross-referencing here in Edinburgh.
Sorry, I can't say to whom this coat of arms belongs. There are more than 10,000 coats of arms in here alone. Counting those elsewhere and the non-registered ones, there are just too many. Plus, some people get married and combine their coats of arms. Others revise them when they acquire land. There are as many coats of arms as there are people. It's not easy to maintain the archive.
So, where else can I search? Yes?
Judging by the thistle at the base, the bearer was somehow linked to the Scottish royal family. The crest has a hawk and silver helmet facing the same way, and the visor is gold. It denotes a marquis or lower noble rank. It's possible this person was not an heir.
What? So you mean he didn't have a title?
Fourth quarter across the hawk. There's a Ben Sinister.
A Ben Sinister?
He wasn't to the official royal line. Also, the third and second quarters have a river mark.
River mark?
I couldn't say for certain, but it seems to me this coat of arms might have come from the area around the Spey Valley.
Is that right? Hey, that's a whiskey distillery. The Spey Valley is world famous for its malt whiskey. How could that have slipped my mind? I can't tell you how much I enjoyed that. In a single glass, you've captured the taste of this entire valley.
Now you know why we call it the water of life. Glen Slauncher, the distillery nearby. May I ask, are you here for business or pleasure?
Oh, the former. Do you know anything about this coat of arms? I've checked the church, the offices, but so far I haven't found any information. This is it!
Aye, come on, lad. We're well known as the home of Scottish brew. Right there. Clearly you can see for yourself the whiskey barrels. I don't think you'll find anything at an office of church.
And so that explains why you specifically ordered a bottle of Glenslanger. This is getting interesting now.
So, you had a question about the coat of arms displayed on our label?
Yes.
It belonged to a lord who lived during the late 17th century, Angus T. Carmichael.
Did you say Angus T?
Yes. Around here, people used to call him the Lord of Scotch.
The Lord of Scotch. Why did they name him that?
During the late 1600s, Scotland was busy defending itself from British invaders. There was also a religious civil war taking place. Then you had the government, who wanted to tax the whiskey. And you had the distillers, whose cunning act of rebellion was to brew it illegally.
This is the place where the smuggled whiskey was seized? Huh? That coat of arms on the flag, are those Angus's men? What? You mean Angus protected his trade in contraband liquor with his own troops? How is that possible?
Oh, it could be false, but the legend goes that he aided the transport of the contraband by striking down a government official. What Angus was really trying to do was help out the poor by encouraging illegal distilling. He was a good man. During his time, outbreaks of the plague spread throughout Scotland. But there wasn't a single solitary victim in this part of the country. The whole population appreciated what he was doing. A respected man he was.
Huh. And because of Angus's character, the story of his remarkable life has been carried on down through the centuries.
Since you're curious, why not take in the play? It's at the Open Air Theatre in Slorix Wood. They're doing a reenactment on the life and times of the Lord of Scotch.
The life of a hero, huh? When's the show?
I'd like to thank you all for waiting. And now, we're very excited to present to you a performance of the life of our hero, the Lord of Scotch, Angus T. Carmichael. A most tragic story.
Tragic life? What happened to Angus?
In 1672, Angus T. Carmichael was born, the son of a lord, an illegitimate child.
Look, Sir Angus, the town will be covered in snow. This is your home. At least take one last look. Angus, sir, the snow!
He was sent to a monastery, and so never knew the love of a family. He was only 4 years old. But during the religious reformation of the 16th century, all of the monasteries in Scotland had been destroyed. Those left standing had become orphanages. As the British enforced their will, the monasteries were under constant attack, and it's likely the boy witnessed some of it. The young Angus had no intention of returning to the place of his birth, but the situation changed dramatically when his father and the rest of the family became victims of the plague.
There'd be no more heirs, I guess. So he becomes lord of the manor.
He was 15 years old at the time.
I've come from the Carmichaels. I'm looking for Master Angus.
Fitting! It's been a while, hasn't it?
What awaited him after he left the monastery was a period of tremendous upheaval. Scotland was in the midst of a religious war between Protestants and Catholics. The country was soaked with blood. Angus fought on the side of the Catholics. Being an illegitimate child back then, he felt a sense of shame. It finally came to an end with the defeat of the Catholics. But Angus survived the war, and the conflict eventually subsided. For a short period of time, Scotland was peaceful. Angus defied the government by brewing whiskey inside a safe in his mansion, and encouraged others to do the same.
Halt! Inspection for contraband. Now, I would like this package opened, if you please.
Hold it!
Angus fell in love with Anne, the daughter of a feudal lord from across the lake. But Lord McCrae was one of the new Protestants. The young lovers could never marry. Despite this, they couldn't help but follow their hearts. The nation's peaceful days did not last. King William III had died, and greed set in. The Catholics and the British both craved power over Scotland. They saw the sudden absence in a monarchy as an opportunity to gain control. In those dark times,
I, who is not accepted in the eyes of God, and without the right to beget another with blessings. What an ironic twist of fate.
I don't care which church. Let one of them bless the child within me.
bearing offspring with the same destiny as Angus's. In the 17th century, this meant that the child couldn't be either Catholic or Protestant.
Oh, that's terrible.
Those were confusing times. The country's fate was uncertain, but Angus was determined to achieve peace. He and his supporters submitted a bill to the legislature advocating traditional means of selecting the next king. The bill also provided protection for the Protestant faith. Hopes were high when the bill supporting the Catholic and Protestant faiths received strong support from both sides. However, England vehemently opposed the idea and conspired to break up the two sides.
Money. Bribery, huh?
Soon there was blackmail. Spies were everywhere.
Oh. Angus. What happened to Angus?
He was set up and lost his estate.
What?
Fiddick!
Now hurry. What do we do now?
A ship! They don't know I have a ship! What about Anne? What do you say to her? Does the girl know about this then?
Aye, sir, I mentioned everything and told her to flee and head to the inlet close to Nairn.
Lady Anne! Lady Anne! Lady Anne! There she is! She's over here! Over here!
How could this happen to Lady Anne? What does God want from this?
Those who betrayed me will soon have their way. England will be allowed to take over this land. It's inevitable. Fiddick, I've been banished from the realm of God. Will there be a place for me somewhere out there in this world?
Oh, aye. Of course there is.
Back then, Europe was sending ships all over the globe. And so, Angus took his chances on an unfamiliar world. Father, were you aware that the founder of Lloyd's was originally a coffee merchant? Long ago, the centre of communication in London was at a cafe by the Thames. It served as a meeting place for merchants who exchanged shipping news. They traded insurance policies too, though at the time it was like gambling. I went to do some research at Oxford University. I'd heard they had a Lloyd's archive there dating back to the 17th century. That's when I found an interesting article. Angus's ship is swallowed by the sea, and only one survivor reaches Japan.
It really makes you wonder what sort of life Angus could have had during the Tokugawa era.
Unfortunately, I've also found that out. Just look at this. It's a book Professor Amada sent me that talks about a Tengu legend around the village where he washed ashore.
Tengu? Oh, I see. Some said the Tengu was someone who drifted onto Japan's shores. You're saying that Angus was made into a Tengu, right? So this sake called Naki Tengu and this locally brewed Scottish whiskey called Glenslanger might be connected to him. Wait, why unfortunately?
Well, the sad fact is that history repeated itself. Once upon a time, there was a Tengu that came from the sea and lived in a village. He played with the kids in the square, helped the farmers in the fields, and made a good reputation for himself. One day, the Tengu fell in love with the daughter of an important merchant. But the villagers, the tradesmen, and even the monk would not allow it. He was reliving it, the same agony in his new land as the one back home.
Suppose the legend's false. Maybe she and Angus ran away, had children, and lived happily ever after. Isn't that a possibility?
It'd sure be nice if it were true. I know how you feel, Father, but he's a character from the past, and we can't do anything about it.
Wait, Taichi! Look! Take a good look here.
That? What? It's a thistle. Why is it on the label?
Yes, the Amakusa Shrine. You can find the same one there. It must be Angus's coat of arms. That is, before it was simplified.
No, wait just a minute, Father. This is strange.
What?
Check this out. This isn't just a simplification. There's something new here.
What is it? What are you saying to me?
According to this, Angus got married or acquired land after creating this coat of arms. The part that was added here, it represents the land.
But according to the story you told, Angus didn't have time to acquire anything.
Yeah, I know, but...
Okay, let me see. Let's figure this out. What does this twig represent?
Wait, let's consider the possibility that this symbol didn't come from Scotland, but maybe one of the Japanese Kazunomon designs.
Kazunomon, Japan's deer horn insignia. If it really is a deer horn, then that town, the one you asked me to go to, it must be...
Professor Taichi Haraga?
Hey, you had an appointment with a gentleman, didn't you?
Oh, that's me.
I'm sorry I arrived here so late. I'm Amada. I guess I was mistaken. I was simply going by the name Hiraga, so I expected to see a young Japanese man.
Professor Amada? You're him?
Well, I guess I should have expected this. I mean, I've been told there must be some English blood in me somewhere. I guess the Amada family has the Tengu blood. To create the perfect wine, two men had risked their lives. Keaton arrives to inspect the most expensive bottle in the world. No other vineyard has ever produced such a superior wine. But a young woman intends to challenge her husband's traditional methods without realizing the terrible price that was paid to attain perfection. Next time, Chateau Lagenché, 1944.